Good evening. My name is Thurman Greco, and the name of this program is Let's Live with Thurman Greco, and it's coming to you from scenic downtown Woodstock, New York, and also from our YouTube channel. And we have a very popular guest with us this evening. We have representatives from the Saugerties Animal Shelter. And this is really nice because this is what, the fourth visit? So they come and they have interesting things to say. And so if you're watching this program, you may want to go reeling back through YouTube and see what the other visits have discussed. And I'm going to start off by asking you guys to introduce yourselves and tell us once again, you're from Saugerties Animal Shelter, and
my name is Morgan. I've worked at the shelter for the last 7 years.
And my name is Shalon, and I volunteered for about 5 years, and then I started officially working at the shelter about 2 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Working for 7 years, but then volunteering and then working, that's a big shift.
It wasn't that big of a shift.
She was already doing all this stuff. We just were happy to make it official.
Yeah, because
Ellie used to say, "This is Shalon. She does everything but get paid."
Oh, that's cute. So then you got paid. So that's good.
It
So
was
that's
good
a
because it
positive
happened
thing.
right around the beginning of COVID, and Morgan got COVID, and Ellie was exposed, and then I officially had keys and could go to the shelter and work. So
It just worked out.
It
just worked out. Well, and this is the Saugerties Animal Shelter. Where is the Saugerties Animal Shelter?
So we're located at 1765 Route 212 in Saugerties, but we're actually not very far from Woodstock either. And we serve the town of Woodstock as well.
And I found the Saugerties Animal Shelter because in visiting the dump, I saw the building.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand you guys are working on a new building.
We are.
And is it going to be in the same place?
Similar, so it'll be in the same area, but we will hopefully have our own road in, so that will be separate from the transfer station.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
the hope.
so we
Oh
can
my-
have different hours and not be stuck to the transfer station hours.
Wow. And so how long has the Saugerties Animal Shelter been open? Do we know? It's been a long time.
We don't know an official date, but it's been well over 40 years.
Wow.
Originally founded by Marie Post.
So when a person goes to the Saugerties Animal Shelter, what animals do we look for?
Cats and dogs mostly, but we do get the occasional rabbits and birds.
Guinea pigs.
Yeah, guinea pigs, yeah. Birds very infrequently, but guinea pigs and rabbits every once in a while.
What about ferrets?
Nope.
No
Not
ferrets.
since we've been there.
Because nobody's brought them in?
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had anybody.
Wow, that's very, very interesting. So the Saugerties Animal Shelter is open the same hours as the dump, which is?
So we're actually open by appointment from 9 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday. But the dump is open Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., which allows people to leave donations even when we're not there.
We have a donation bin next to the front door. It's red and it has a white SAS on it. So if they have to be at work at 8, but they go by at 7:30, the gate is open even though we're not there yet, and they can put the donations right in the bin.
And when you talk about donations, what are you talking about?
Some people bring linens, food, toys, that type of stuff.
So you have the shelter, but you've got a gift shop too.
We do. We have a boutique.
You have a boutique.
Shalon's specialty too.
And mainly you have dogs and cats.
Yes.
And I have a cat from the Saugerties Animal Shelter, and Ellen has a cat from the Saugerties Animal Shelter. And whenever I show up over there, I see a lot of people walking dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I really would love to have a dog, or several dogs, especially little dogs. But I have this marvelous cat, and I am I'm afraid that if I bring home several dogs, that she's going to not be this marvelous cat anymore. Is that true?
Several dogs at once, perhaps.
Really?
It might be a lot.
Yeah, but one dog that kind of suits your lifestyle could be her buddy.
Really?
Or they
Oh,
could just
yeah.
coexist and not be bothered by each other.
Cherish and Chloe, Chloe's our shelter cat and Cherish is our mascot dog, cuddle up together in Cherish's bed. And when I bring Cherish home, my cat Nico cuddles up with her and grooms her. So sometimes cats and dogs can be
They get
BFFs.
along very well.
Sometimes.
We are just so in love with Peaches, and I'm afraid that she might frown or something, you know?
You don't want to disappoint her.
I really do not want to disappoint her because, and of course, everybody has an adoption story. How many animals, do you know how many animals you've had adopted from your shelter?
We do about 400 animals a year, give or take.
That's more than one a day.
Mm-hmm.
And you're only open 3 days a week. So you're adopting out cats and dogs 2 or 3 at a day.
We have some busy days.
We do. Right now, though, there's a national low in adoption rates. So
Why?
The economy, housing shortage, lack of pet-friendly housing, rising cost of living. It's tough. It's tough for people to live, as humans. So taking care of a pet is extra.
Another expensive responsibility.
Yes.
If you do it right.
Yes.
Yes. So does that mean that you have a lot of animals that you don't normally have? Or does that mean that you just don't have shoppers and they just stay in the shelter? How does that work when you have fewer adoptions?
So when we have fewer adoptions, that means that essentially we can help less animals. So if there's less animals going out, that we can't take animals in. So, for example, we get a lot of dogs from down south on a transport. And
Voluntarily.
Yes, voluntarily. Usually we would do that once a month or once every 6 weeks or so, but lately it's been every 2 months or so because dogs aren't going out as quickly, so we can't take dogs in. So it's a domino effect.
So how do you let the people in the South know that you're not going to be taking the dogs off the truck?
Oh, it's all planned
Yeah,
ahead of time. We're in constant communication. She's constantly trying to get us to take more dogs, and we're constantly telling her,
Sorry, we can't.
only have 12 kennels.
Yeah.
How did you find this group in the South?
Through mutual connections of other shelters and rescues. She's the only rescue we work with. Shout out to Walking in the Sun and Mindy. So we have a really close relationship with her, so we're comfortable saying, hey, we can't right now, and she understands, she gets it.
Wow.
But she works with multiple rescues and shelters in this area as well as all over the East Coast.
Up to Maine.
Yeah.
So she puts the dogs in the transport, in the 18-wheeler?
Well, it's a big van, but she drives it herself.
Oh, it's a van.
Mm-hmm.
With windows and doors opening in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Temperature
Yep,
controlled.
temperature controlled. It's big, comfy for them.
So how many dogs does she pack in that van?
I don't know exactly.
It depends on the trip. It
Yeah.
depends on how big the dogs are, how many puppies are coming up. Because sometimes she has mommies with their puppies, and you could have more in the cage if you have puppies.
Yeah, so you could
versus
put a
big
couple
dogs.
puppies in a kennel together and one big, so anywhere from like a dozen to 20.
So she starts out, oh my goodness, she starts out with her van
In Louisiana.
in Louisiana, and she stops at different shelters along the way. And in the meantime, she's got to stop every couple of hours and walk the dogs and feed the dogs. And then you come somewhere to a motel at night. And I can just imagine driving up to the motel at 8 or 9 o'clock at night on Highway 95 North, and you got 12, 15 dogs,
I don't think she usually stops. It's usually her and a volunteer, and they just
Straight
keep
through.
driving.
They take turns.
Listen, that sounds like a real good deal, because I can just see pulling into this motel, and if the guy at the desk pays any attention, oh, that's okay. That's our bottle. Well, okay. So they finally make it up here, and they make it to the Saugerties Animal Shelter, and you are able to select
we
what's
select
there.
them before they come. She'll send us
Okay.
pictures of who she thinks would work for us, and we say yes. Okay.
And we also know, based on the applications that we've received and approved, what types of dogs people are looking for. So even if we don't have the dog someone's looking for, we always encourage them to put in an application and say what they're looking for, because we may be able to find it for them. And then we would bring that dog up, and they'd be the first person we'd call to meet them.
Does she have to do a lot of medical care?
She does.
Before-
She does all of it down there.
So before you ever see the dog, it's been wormed and fleed and gotten its shots, and you figured out if there's anything wrong with the teeth and all of those things.
Yep.
Sometimes we have to do boosters or something like that, depending on their age.
But by the time you see the animal, there's been several $100s worth of
Absolutely.
work done.
Yes.
That's the thing about a shelter. When you go to a shelter, the person has watched over the dog. They know the temperaments. They know the health they know the personality quirks, and they're able to share those. What is the most popular age of the dogs coming up the trail?
Puppies and anything under 2, really.
Anything under 2?
We get a lot of like 1-year-olds,
Yeah.
almost 1-year-olds.
Coming up on the Shelter Express.
Yep. Yes.
Lots of young dogs.
Isn't that funny? If I were asking, although I would not ask, when we came and got Peaches, we didn't ask, we just did it. I would probably want 5 to 8 years old.
Well, we have Remus, who is 7 or 8 years old, and he's been with us for over 1.5 years. So if you know anyone looking for a big, lovable bundle of German Shepherd / Pit Bull, he's available.
He is available.
Yes.
He is. He's a fan favorite. We all love him.
Now, what happens when somebody shows up and they tell you that they want to find a dog?
So, well, first we always encourage them to submit their application, because you need to be pre-approved before you can adopt. So once you're approved, we get you in for an appointment, and then from there, we have a little chat and discuss kind of what you're looking for in a pet, and then from there, if you're looking for a dog, we'll bring out dogs individually so that you can meet them on a more personal scale, rather than seeing them all in a kennel together.
You won't get a true impression of what a dog's personality is like walking into a room full of barking dogs, which is why we do it by appointment only, because it's very stressful and frustrating for the dogs to have people walking in and out and in and out all day. It's bad for their mental health, which becomes bad for their physical health. So we recently took a class and got certified in shelter management, and
Did
one of the
you
many
really?
things we learned. Yeah.
Tell me about this class.
So it was about 9 months, over the course of 9 months, and Shalon, Ellie, and myself, we all took it, and we learned different things about shelter operation procedures, health procedures,
Enrichment,
community programs, marketing, a little bit of everything.
Who was offering this class?
It was through the University of the Pacific?
Yes.
Online.
The University of Pacific used to also offer a canine massage therapy class. Yeah. So I'm kind of familiar with that group. So, but now this was online?
A lot of Zooms.
Yep.
So you didn't really ever see anything. You had a textbook, and
We did a lot of on Zoom calls, and we had books, and they would distribute material that we had to read.
There were professionals that we would ask questions to, and they would answer all the questions, and a lot of videos to watch and articles to read. And
I would love to have taken that class. How much, if somebody wants to take some classes with you guys, do you offer other classes? Tell me about the education program.
So we don't offer any classes unless you're a volunteer who's looking to foster, then we will do a foster class. But this management course was through a university.
So that was for people that were on the payroll?
Yes, yeah, it was just for shelter employees.
You have to be on the payroll.
I'm sure you could take it
Yourself.
outside. Yeah,
You'd have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a normal college student.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, you would expect to.
Mm-hmm.
What other classes do you take?
Trying to think of, my favorite was the community programs and the marketing aspect of it, because it gave us a lot of ideas, like enrichment and stuff like that, which was very helpful, and we implemented a lot of the things we learned there.
Wow.
And the public doesn't like all of the changes, but our animals come first. They will always come first. So it may be slightly inconvenient that you have to have an application in and set up an appointment, and you can't just walk in through the dog room, but it makes a world of difference for the dogs. And I think that's going to be the way that everyone's going to work eventually, because it's becoming more known now how detrimental it really is to just walk people up and down a hallway of dogs. And now they have aromatherapy, and the cats have brushes on their cages to rub their faces on, and all kinds of new things that we learned. Every little bit helps their stay.
You know, that's interesting. Years ago, I was somewhere in a shelter, and somebody had brought in a little poodle. And that poor little dog was a nervous wreck. And there were all these strangers wandering through, and the little thing was in a cage just going crazy. You just couldn't imagine how awful that dog must have felt. And so you just don't have that anymore.
Right.
We try to space the dogs and put dogs that get along together, and noisier dogs away from shyer dogs, because we take getting to know their personality very seriously, because we take matchmaking them with their forever home very seriously. So whatever can make them more comfortable. If there's two dogs that really like each other and want to be able to see each other and play through the fence, then so be it.
Yeah,
Two that
that's
don't
true.
like each other, separate them.
That's true. So you're open, what, 2 days or 3 days a week?
So we do appointments Tuesday through Saturday. Really, we're flexible. The animals are our priority. So if we have an opportunity to give them a home, we do our best to work with adopters.
It's hard to schedule for people, we understand, given our limited hours with the transfer station hour. So if it's a Wednesday at 9:30 and that's the only time someone can come in, we try to make it work.
Well, we adopted Peaches on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think Ellen adopted, Mabel and also Gypsy. I think, do we remember what days?
Well, it must have been a Wednesday this week, right?
Yeah, because I was there, so it was Wednesday.
Yeah. So you just work with it. I know that years ago I was also trying to find a Siamese cat, and I got involved with the Siamese Cat Association. Excuse me. And we couldn't see anything until we had turned in the paperwork. And this was like 30 years ago.
And that's how we basically still do it, because if, say, your pet isn't up to date on their vaccines, then we can't send a kitten home with you because it's dangerous to the kitten and your cat. So if you go in there and you fall in love with this kitten, you just must absolutely have it, and then you go home and fill out the paperwork and find out, I'm not approved, I have to get my cat updated, and someone else who's already approved comes in that same day and takes that kitten home, then your heart gets broken. So we try to avoid breaking people's hearts and have them ready to go, approved, so if they fall in love when they walk through those doors, they can take that animal home that day.
People say it's a lot of hoops to jump through, but really we're just making the process easier for everyone, including us, them, and the animal.
And they get personal attention from us, whereas if 3 families showed up at once and there's only 2 of us there and everyone wanted to look at a dog, it would be absolute chaos and no one would get a good interaction with any of those dogs. They wouldn't see their real personalities. They'd be bumping into each other if they were all in the cat room. It's a very small facility right now. So it works better for everyone.
There's a method to our madness.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Many years ago, I was up around the 92nd Street Y, and there's the SPCA is up there, and I saw a woman walking a little poodle this big, and if I hadn't been very knowledgeable of animals, I would never have realized that this woman was walking a shelter dog. And I followed her into the building, and I just told the receptionist, I said, I want that dog right there today. And they did it with reason. It took hours.
We've done that before.
I had no appointment. They didn't know me from Adam. It was the weekend, and we had to go through all the hoop, and I refused to leave. I just refused. That was the one, but you know, I was stubborn and mean and whatever. How do you know? I'm going to ask you two questions. First of all, how does a person know when they've got a dog, when they have found an animal, and how do you know
That they found the one?
Yep.
It's different for everybody. It's not like we've had dogs that just run and leap into the arms of the person that's coming to meet them and they're sold. Or we've had dogs that it takes a few weeks and they're like, oh, you know, the relationship is slowly developed. It's different for everybody.
Some dogs need you to visit a few times because they've had their heart broken before and they're not open yet, and you got to prove yourself to them. Like we had he was a very fat dog initially, Buddy, who didn't trust anyone. He had been abused, and we got his weight down and we got him healthy, and he originally didn't let anyone touch his neck or put
What was he?
Miniature or toy Manchester Terrier. He looked like a little min pin.
Yeah, or Doberman.
Yeah. And I made him my pet project, and it was said in his bio, anyone that wants to take him home, you have to come meet him a few times, and he has to let you put his leash on. And people came 3 times. He loved them. He immediately let them put the leash on, and we were like, good, he's okay with you. Sometimes the dog has to choose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like Gypsy gave Ellen her belly. That was amazing. And we were like, oh, perfect. She approves of Ellen.
That's very important.
Yeah.
That's
you have
very
to
important
both
with the
feel
cat.
the connection.
Yeah, when we walked in, Barry looked at Peaches, and Peaches just went over to the edge of the cage. It was like, okay, this is it. But you're right, not everyone is like that.
And we've had some cats that are super nice most of the time, and someone were like, oh, this is the nicest cat. And they were like, And they said no to that person, and we're like, okay, so that's not your person. Moving on, we have other cats.
So, do you ever have a person who comes in and sees an animal, whether it be a dog or a cat or a bunny rabbit or whatever, and you realize, like Gypsy showed her tummy, you realize this animal likes this person, but the person doesn't know? Do you ever have a person that doesn't realize that you have found the pet for them?
Yeah, and we'll point it out, the behavior that's happening, and say, this is what's happening, this is what's happening, and...
Do they ever ignore you?
Oh, we get ignored plenty.
Yeah.
All the time. More often than not.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
No kidding.
Unfortunately.
Well, so what do you do?
You have to let people make their choices.
Really bear it.
Yeah. We're not going to let somebody go home with a fractious cat if they have a 2-year-old. We will flat out say no because it's a danger to the child. So sometimes we do have to say that's not the right cat for you given your situation. but here's like 3 other cats that would be great with a child. But sometimes people just want a cat because of the way it looks, or a dog because of the way it looks. But it has to be a match that's going to work for everyone, or the cat's going to end up coming back, someone's going to end up getting hurt. It's not going to work out for anyone. So, you know, we also want people to come in and see everyone, because sometimes they're like, I want a cat, but I don't want a black cat. I know I don't want a black cat. But then when they come in, the black cat comes over, throws themselves at them, purrs, shows their belly, climbs up, gives them a hug, and they go home with the black cat. So you really never know until you walk in there and you meet them.
Amazing. It's the experience. And it's like a first date.
I was just going to say, think about online dating. You really don't know until you see them in person.
That's true. That's very true. And you know, you did mention a 2-year-old. You know, kids can be a mess. Little kids can be a mess. Several months ago, it must have been longer than that, I saw the kid must have been a toddler trying to put a diaper on a cat. And, you know, the cat was putting up with it.
Yeah, we've had those cats. And we'll say, this is a cat that's great for a home with children.
Yep.
We call them bomb-proof cats.
Bomb-proof.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it, you know. The cat was putting up with all of it. So what you do is, the person has to decide that they're getting a pet. And then you tell them that they have to fill out the paperwork.
They go to the website and they can fill it out right from home before they even talk to us.
Does anybody ever tell you, I don't have a computer, I can't do that? What do you do?
So then they can either set up an appointment with us to come in and we'll help them fill it out in person,
Okay.
or they can call us and we'll help them fill it out
So
over the phone.
you help them with it. And then you make an appointment and they come in and they visit. And do you ever have people who say, I'm new in town and I've never had a pet and I don't know anything?
Yeah, actually, peak COVID, we had the most first-time pet parents ever.
What did you do?
We just helped them along. You know, we printed, pamphlets out, gave them resources they could look into, and of course, we're always there to support an adoption through anything. So.
And we made sure they had appropriate pets for first-time pet owners.
What is an appropriate pet for a first-time pet owner? I've never quite gotten that one together.
Not somebody who has those quirks you were talking about that might be difficult to manage. So one that's just easy to take care of, has an easygoing personality, not a lot of extra requirements.
Low maintenance personalities.
How do you recognize such a cat or a dog?
They'll be easy to work with. They don't put up anything. They're just go with the flow.
We just get to know their personalities from interacting with them every day, and if they have medical needs, we wouldn't consider that like good for a first timer, or someone on a special diet like Gypsy, not great for a first-time pet owner. Or if there's a cat or a dog that has a behavior issue and you have to avoid, say, touching their ears, not great for a first pet owner.
Okay, so a person comes in and I saw a lot of this. I still see it. I see a lot of people who have come to the area. And you can spot them. They've got a dog and a leash, and they're out on the street, man. And of course, in Woodstock, everybody likes to go 50, 60 miles an hour, and they shake their fist and keep right on going. So they're very happy with that. But when people walk in the door, do you recognize that?
Sometimes.
How?
Well, the questions they ask.
Yes.
What are the questions?
So if they're very basic questions about, like, do cats like to be held or touch their bellies? Those are things among people like us, that's all common knowledge. But, for a first-time pet owner, it's not going to be. It's going to be all new information to them. So anything that is just like breathing for us is going to be totally brand new for them.
We've had somebody come in and said, oh, this cat's wagging its tail, it's happy. And we have to explain, no, for a cat wagging its tail means they're not happy. It's the opposite of a dog. Oh, I only know dog things. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you ever have new pet owner classes?
We don't, but it's something we could consider once we have our new shelter up and
Absolutely.
running.
Really?
Yeah, once we have that new shelter, we can offer so much more to the community.
Oh, yeah.
So you're working on the new shelter.
Mm-hmm.
And where is it now?
So where it'll be, it's about, I don't know exactly how far, but it's in the woods near the transfer station. It's about 5 acres. The trees are cleared, the well has been dug, there's an access road put in. We'll be working on the septic next, and there will be a groundbreaking coming soon. So once it's up and running, we're gonna have a community room that we're very excited about, and that's where we'll be able to have classes and host birthday parties and all kinds of stuff like that.
You know, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
If you can have a community room that you rent out to people, I mean, space it's such a premium.
And what child doesn't want to have a birthday party with
At the-
kittens or puppies or
Right. Absolutely. Oh, I can see it now. Well, you know, maybe this summer, if you don't have your building yet, you can do a tent and have a birthday party in the tent, you know, because that's a wonderful thing to do. That's extremely
We do
nice.
already have children that are so sweet who at their birthdays ask, they don't want presents, they want donations to the shelter, and they come and bring.
Really?
Yes.
We get a lot of kids
It's
who do
so
that. It's really
sweet.
nice.
So if somebody wants to align themselves, make friends with the shelter, they can do that? What are ways to make friends with the shelter?
So you can always volunteer, you can always foster, or if you're ever just interested in the shelter, you can always just send us a message or give us a call, and we can always just talk about ways that you can get involved.
Do you need volunteers?
Always.
Always need more
What does that
fosters.
mean?
So we have a lot of volunteers that do a lot of different things. We have dog walking volunteers who come in regularly and help walk the dogs and take the dogs out. We actually recently started a new program called Doggy Day Out. So a volunteer can sign a shelter dog out for the day and take them out on the town to, get them exposed to potential adopters and just
Have a hike.
Yep.
What a total.
Take them out for ice cream.
What a total are people doing it? Oh, that's wonderful. I think that's a great idea.
When Remus sees a car, he wants to get in it right away because he's been taken out a few times because he's been here so long. He gets so excited. If there's an open car door, he's trying to get in.
Who thought that up?
Actually,
We learned it in our class.
Yeah, we learned about it in class.
Okay, so you can have an afternoon out with a dog. You can have a walk date
Yep.
or an ice cream date. You know, that would be great because if you go to Saugerties to sell your ice cream, and they have little cups.
Cups.
They do.
Yeah.
Sawyer is a big supporter of the animal shelter, so
Yes.
we appreciate them.
Are they really?
They-
Absolutely.
Yep.
So if somebody wants to have a birthday there, they can do that, and then they can have Sawyer ice cream.
That's a good idea.
They can do that. Okay, so there are some opportunities to interact with the shelter.
Yeah,
Yep,
we have.
absolutely.
Yeah, we have many different things people can do. Just
What are some activities that are coming up?
So we have our psychic fair coming up in June. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're very excited. You'll be there.
Well, I'm gonna be reading tarot cards. Bobby Bruce is gonna be. He's a medium, and then you said there's another medium.
we have
coming?
another psychic and medium, Christina. She's going to be it'll be her first time at our fair, but she's not new to it.
How did you find her?
She came into the boutique and introduced herself and said she was disappointed she couldn't make it to last year's, but she wanted me to reach out to her when we did it this year, and I found her business card and I did, and she was super excited to join.
Very good.
Yeah.
We're excited
Oh,
to
that's
have her.
great. Okay, so you've got some activities going.
There's going to be, again, I don't know if you remember last year, Marion, the astrologer. We're going to have a numerologist this
Yep. Her
time.
name's Janet. And we'll also have 2 animal communicators this time.
2, because Liz was sold out and so busy she couldn't even take a drink. She was so busy last time. So now we have 2 animal communicators.
Yep.
We couldn't meet the demand the last couple of times, so now we have more talent to go around.
As well as 18 vendors that you can shop around at while you're waiting for your
What are,
turn.
who's, do you know who the vendors are at this psychic fair?
One is going to be mostly Magic Market, which is Meredith, the chipmunk lady. She does a lot of, she takes pictures of the wild chipmunks at her house and she puts them in different scenes, and then she prints the scenes on postcards and tote bags, and it's...
You would think it was a taxidermied animal, but it is her rescue chipmunks.
It's all
They're the
real,
cutest.
and it's the coolest thing.
And Kathleen from My CBD store is going to have her table there again. Her stuff was very popular last year. There'll be gemstones and jewelry.
Crystals.
Crystals.
Vespucci Homestead is going to be there with
yes.
some of their goodies.
The what?
Vespucci Homestead.
What's that?
I believe they're a little farm or like a homestead, and they do like homemade jams and biscuits and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to have a lot of things.
Right.
Now, last time we were there, you had a food truck.
Not going to have the food truck this time.
We're going to do
No
a bake
food
sale,
truck
though.
this time. Bake sale instead. Sounds like more fun, frankly. I mean, well, now I take that back, because my friend Barbara ate 2 hot dogs and loved it. And Barry ate a couple of hot dogs and he thought it was great. But, you know, baked goods are, you know, getting cupcakes and things are a lot of fun. Okay, so there's going to be food, there's going to be fun, and you've got the astrologer, you've got 2 animal communicators. You know, as an aside, you guys should get yourself trained in animal communication.
We would love to, if only we had the time.
Yes, in the break.
Okay. It's not hard. It does take several classes. And, you know, there's no charge. I don't know, maybe sometime if you think you'd like to take, you know, to do that.
Oh, we would love to learn.
What you may try to do is add people from the community and they can make a donation. And then I can teach them. And there are other people who can, I mean, you know.
Yes, Liz offered a class at one point, and just nobody signed up. So
Well,
we could
maybe
try
it
again. Yes, absolutely.
Because, you know, truthfully, animal communicators are tripping all over each other around here. So that's one thing. The other one is animal massage. Now, that takes only 5 lessons, and each lesson is about an hour. I teach a very basic massage, which is easy to learn, and the animals love it. So that is something that you can do. And then you can charge people who would like to come and join you. And all it takes is, you know, I mean, and you've got all those people.
And once we have that community room, we'll have the space.
Well, you know, in the summer, you've got, you know, Saturday afternoon, well, not Saturday afternoons, because I'm at the flea market. But something, you've got maybe something during, you know, 5 weeks is not the end of the world.
No.
So there are some opportunities. Now, when you get your community room, you can also teach painting.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Paint and sips.
I mean, someone's really going to have to teach me because I have no skill whatsoever.
Well, I never realized it, but there are people who say that it's very easy to draw and paint animals. I don't know.
I am not
Oh,
one
I
of
was
those
gonna say,
people.
not
There is a guy that is at the flea market, and he's going to be having me and 2 other people in a YouTube art class that he claims that, you know, that if you're a human being, he can teach you. I don't know that.
No, we
We'll
could
see.
challenge him.
We'll see. If it works, we'll go with it. Well, there's a lot going, but what else? I mean, we've been you know, doing some imaginary things here, but what are some things that the Saugerties Animal Shelter is doing to raise money and to get volunteers that you could talk about now?
So we're always selling bricks that'll be displayed at our new
Oh.
building once it's up. That you can do that online, or you can stop by the shelter and we can give you a form.
Really?
Yep, and you can customize it however you'd like, pretty much.
And they have already been produced,
Yep.
like as the orders come in bunches and they're in storage. They're really happening.
Yep, and they look wonderful.
Yes. You can get 2 different sizes depending on how much you want to write on it.
Next time you come, will you bring some bricks?
Sure.
And share? And yeah, because it's one thing to talk about it, but another thing to show and tell.
People can see examples on our website.
Can you really?
And there's one right in front of our front door that says Saugerties Animal Shelter on it.
Really? So that would be really nice. Okay, so we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So you had the Blue Jean Ball.
Yeah.
Do you have another big festival or something coming up? You have the Psychic Fair. What
Just
else?
the Psychic Fair for now. The Blue Jeans Ball, it's our biggest event of the year, so that took a lot. That took a lot of planning, a lot of time, a lot of effort. So we'll have the Psychic Fair in June, and then we'll probably take a little break from events for a while, and then we'll be having another Psychic Fair in October as well.
And we'll be at the Garlic Festival as always.
Oh, now talk about the Garlic Festival. I didn't know about the Saugerties Animal Shelter and garlic.
Well, our garlic part is we put up information that you can take on, is garlic good for animals? And it lists information about that.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, because not everybody knows like what things are poisonous or to
Oh,
animals.
no, garlic is good.
Not for animals.
Oh, really? You don't recommend garlic for animals?
It can be toxic.
Really?
Garlic
See,
and
that's why we
onions.
have to put up that information.
That's true. That's something to put up on your website. What other thing do you have? Do you have on your website toxic plants and things?
We do have a pet safety tab on our website. I'll have to look and see how updated it is, but
It's something we can add if it's
Yeah.
not there already.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, and we'll be at the Garlic Festival with a lot of raffles and also selling our merchandise, our t-shirts and hoodies. And we usually have quite an array of different raffles, mostly donated by local businesses and just people and supporters of the shelter.
Okay. Okay. So so the next psychic fair is going to be in the fall
after the one in June, yep.
Yep.
after the one in June. And then you've got the garlic festival.
Yep.
And so that's pretty well it. But one thing you can do is sell the bricks.
Or come shop at the boutique any Saturday.
Well, now tell us about the boutique.
The boutique always has our shelter merchandise. We carry t-shirts, unisex and women's cut V-necks. We have hoodies, we have zip-ups, we have pullover, Morgan's new favorite sweatshirt, pullover crew necks, different designs. We just got a new design that has a QR code and a heart, and someone can just scan the QR code and make a donation straight from your t-shirt.
Oh, really?
It goes right to Venmo and
How
to our
clever.
account. Yeah, so that's our newest design. We were pretty excited to unleash that at the Blue Jeans Ball. That was its debut. And then we also have new and like new items, a whole array of things. Anything you could probably want for your pet. There's treats, there's toys, there's bowls, there's beds, there's clothes, and then some home goods and some people clothes and shoes, knickknacks. You really never know what you're gonna find because we never know what people are gonna drop off for us.
I know that I purchased a tower for the cat, and I thought, oh no, this is not going to work. But we put it together. Well, she still got it. It still looked brand new, and she's not ready to give it up. So that works. Do you have any of those slow feeders?
Yes.
That's been really, really interesting, hasn't it? Are people picking up on that?
Well, we always recommend them to anyone who has an animal that eats too fast and barfs, or is overweight, or needs to be kept busy, or a snuffle mat for a dog.
Yeah, well, Peaches loves hers. She has 2 now. One for kibble and then one for the wet food.
Yeah, the mats with the bumps and stuff, and you smooth the wet food on it.
Yeah.
Or you could do peanut butter for a dog and then freeze it, and then when you want to brush them, stick it to the wall and keep them busy.
Really?
Yeah, we have some with suction cups on the back.
Well, the The one that I bought one of the ones that I bought has suction cups in the back, but I had no idea what it was for.
You can suction cup it either to like the shower wall if you were giving the dog a bath, or you could suction cup it to the floor so it doesn't move.
Do you guys give any instructions on bathing cats and grooming cats?
Cats shouldn't be bathed unless there's an illness or a matting issue. They are self-cleaning. They're the only thing in a house that is self-cleaning.
Well, Peaches is self-cleaning.
Yes.
But she spends an awful lot of time. She goes through periods, but now, like right now, she's going through a period where there's a lot of time spent cleaning. And so I take her to the groomer, and she likes it. She's happy with it.
Mabel really appreciated it when she was sick and I gave her a bath. After her bath, she was so appreciative. She'd rub all against me, but that is a rarity. Usually cats are so stressed out by baths that it's not worth doing it unless it's really a medical necessity. We do have bathing wipes, and we have like dry foaming shampoo, so you can kind of groom a cat without actually dunking them in water and stressing them out. Because too much stress, they could actually have a stroke or
Brushing your cat is better than bathing.
Absolutely.
My first cat, probably 35 years ago, was this great huge gray thing, and I would put warm water in the kitchen sink and then just put him in it, and he would just sit very quietly there while I bathed him. But the thing we didn't do is you didn't hear the water running, so he was happy. He loved his bath, and now Peaches is very happy to go see the groomer. She thinks it's great, but Peaches is convinced that everything that she does is perfect, so, life is perfect.
she's a cat.
And she's very definitely has staff,
Yes.
And Peaches is very interesting because when we got her, as you know, we showed up on a Wednesday and I said we must have a cat immediately, and off we went with the cat. And then it wasn't long until my oldest daughter was in a horrendous accident, and she was home recuperating. And at first she was in the hospital for a month, and then she came home and she would be like active for maybe a half an hour or an hour, and then she'd be out of it for the rest of the day. And then she gradually built herself up, and Peaches was in charge of the therapy.
Just laying on her purring is therapy.
Yeah,
The purring is healing.
Peaches was in charge, and then at one point we had to all go up to New Baltimore to my daughter's home, and we put Peaches in the car and with the cat litter and the food, and up we went. We all went up to New Baltimore, and she just, she looked around, she realized that all of us were there together, and she was just fine. But now my daughter is now totally well, and she is in New Baltimore, and Peaches and Barry and I are in Woodstock, and Peaches is not real happy with that.
Aww.
She
misses her sister.
Yeah, she it's like, where are you? And then when she sees her, it's like
she's gonna have to FaceTime with her.
Yeah, well, that she does FaceTime with the birds on YouTube in the computer. Now you were talking about that earlier. How many of your clients know about YouTube?
For cats?
Yeah.
I think we just recently started telling
only
people.
The last few months we started doing it because we had one cat who was in a foster home, and he would watch kitty TV in bed at night with his foster mom. And so when it was time for him to come into the shelter to be adopted, she told us that he liked to watch TV. So we had somebody donated an extra iPad, so we set it up for him, and he loved it. And
then we asked for people, if you have any old devices that you're not using because you've upgraded or something, if you're willing to donate them to the cats, we can put kitty TV on for them. And a couple more people dropped off more devices. And
that's wonderful.
Now we just have to keep on top of charging them.
But they love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it sounds nice for us
we
too.
like it too.
We like hearing the birds chirp.
But now, you have several cats who do this. Peaches does not like the mice. Peaches likes the birds. Mm-hmm. She does not like mice and squirrels.
Depends on the cat. They can be finicky.
Do you have some cats that like the squirrels and mice?
I haven't noticed a difference in them yet. We do the birds most of the time just because we like how it sounds.
Do you do the TV that has the music with it also?
No, it's just the nature sounds.
Just the nature sounds. That's what we do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
But we do have a music system as well. So
Yeah.
for the dog room.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do too much for an animal, especially when you take into account that all of the animals that come to your place are stressed out.
Absolutely.
And the ones that started off in New Orleans in a van. That's tough.
It is.
And you'd be amazed at their resiliency sometimes, and just they bound out of there just so happy, and you're like, man, I would need a week's rest and therapy if I just went through that, and they're just so happy to be there.
Oh yeah, well they're getting out of confinement. How did she find you?
Through another rescue group, another local
Really?
rescue group. They connected us. It was the height of COVID. COVID had just started, and we were empty. We had no cats.
We couldn't keep up with the demand.
Yeah, we only had a few dogs, and people were looking for puppies. So, these are animals that were going to be euthanized otherwise. So we said, okay, let's try. And I think we started with a litter of 6 puppies and a couple adult dogs, and they were adopted immediately. And it worked out so well that we just kept doing it, and we've been doing it ever since.
But now your shelter has been around for 40 years. So this group from New Orleans, it's like less than 5 years old.
I don't know how long they've been established, but our relationship with them started in April of 2020.
Wow.
It's a new way to rescue animals and save lives, just out of state lives. We bring them here and make connections, because in the South they don't have the spay and neuter or the same just culture that we do around
No, it's
pets.
a completely different attitude.
Right.
And people on farms and things, you have farm cats and farm dogs. We come with a different focus,
And it's fine, like we do have barn cats for people who need barn cats, but they're going to be spayed or neutered, they're going to be vaccinated, and they need to be provided with food and shelter, and they're still not property, they're still a living being.
When you say they're barn cats, what does that mean?
Not social enough to want to be a house cat, but can be a working cat and still have a great life.
So they do go out into the barn then?
And that's only specific cats that we get in that we know just cannot be house cats. Otherwise, we want our cats to be indoor only, because
How do you know that they're barn cats?
usually by the bleeding that happens when we handle them.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
They're just very fractious, and they just, airplane ears back, pupils huge, like we can read their body language, and they tell us, no thank you. We do not want to interact with people.
Where do you get them?
People find them, and they may not be in great condition, and we'll get them fixed up and then find them somewhere to go work. We had one cat.
Oh, yep, Diesel.
Diesel is now a working cat in a distillery, and he's like on their Facebook page and everything, because they don't want to use chemicals in the brewery, or the distillery. So he's their natural
Pest repellent.
and he does a good job. She sent me videos of him carrying mice in his mouth.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. So, and Diesel came from Saugerties Animal Shelter?
Yes, he came into us from a couple who were walking into their house with a bag of Chinese food, and he was so skinny and on the verge of death, and he attacked their Chinese food bag. And Ellie and I didn't know if he was going to make it through the night. He was so bad. And the three of us just held on to our hopes, but we really didn't know, and we gave him everything we got, and he made a full recovery, and we tried it out in a house, and he just was not a house cat. And we were like, he needs to get that energy out, he needs to be a working cat. And at the distillery, he is a friendly cat, and he likes the people, but only if he can get that energy out and have that freedom and do his job as
And his
well.
first meal was Chinese food.
I don't know how much he got out of their bag, but yeah, he was clinging to it, hanging from it.
At that point, I wouldn't even bother to ask.
He was so dehydrated. He was
She
just
was really in rough shape.
so bad. But now he looks great.
He's doing wonderful.
Oh, man. Well, what is something that you look forward to in your shelter in 2023 and 2024?
Breaking ground on our new shelter.
Yep, that new building that we
very excited.
desperately need for our animals. It's going to be such a better experience for them, which makes us happy. And the community.
Oh my gosh, we're down here to 5 minutes. This is your chance now. Tell everybody about the bricks and about the psychic fair, and how do we get in touch with you, and what are your hours, and if somebody wants to volunteer, what do they do?
So for all of that, the best thing to do is go to our website, which is saugertiesanimalshelter.com. There you can find all of our events, a link to our Facebook page, our adoption applications, our volunteer applications, all of our contact information. Everything's there on our website.
Okay. So what about the psychic fair?
So that'll be on June 24th. And some of our talent is going to be taking appointments, so it's a good idea to call us and book an appointment beforehand to make sure you get your spot. But other than that, it starts at 10 a.m. and goes till 3 p.m. on June 24th.
Okay, that's wonderful. Well, I am going to be there probably a few minutes early, and I'll start taking appointments however long they're there, and I will continue without a break.
Yeah, you stayed late last time.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm there for. I mean, you know, that's the whole idea. I don't have time to walk the dogs, and I would love to do that. I may do that in the future, but not at this moment anyway. So if they want to do bricks,
Also available on our website, or they could stop in.
okay. Well, thank you very, very much. And thank you, Ellen, owner of Gypsy.
Formerly known as Dunkin' Donut, for anyone that followed her story on our Facebook.
Oh, so Ellen's cat the story is on your Facebook?
She went through a lot. She had to wear a cute little t-shirt for a long time, and she had surgery, and we did a little fundraiser for her, so yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming in.
Of course.
for
Thanks for
It's
having
been
us.
a wonderful show. And thank you, Ellen.